So there's an example, and she made a great stat announcement about how women have actually generated a lot of the new businesses here. You know, not only in Calgary, but also in Canada. Are we surprised? Social media has allowed us to do that, Dax.
Absolutely. Definitely. I've seen more and more startups that are founded by women or have a generally larger women team than anyone else, and that's great. It brings an amazing diversity to absolutely everything, right?
And these connections.
Yeah, and same with a lot of design studios and agencies. There's a 50-50 initiatives out there that allow these people to like make 50-50 workplaces. Because especially in design and advertising, it's super important that we balance everything out.
And I think it makes that better work-life balance, especially for moms out there who want to stay at home with their kids and also stick in the business world or create some extra income.
For sure.
Here's a mompreneur right here. I mean, you're finding a way. You found a niche, and you said to yourself, "Wait a minute, I have this interest. I have this love. Why can't I further it? If only I had the resources." Social media jumps in, and all of a sudden, you're off and running.
It's
Barb.
crazy. It's crazy the people you can meet and just the journey and the path that it can take you on. I've learned a ton. I'm actually really not technically savvy at all, but I do like learning. And so I think any mom, any parent really, right, wants to somehow grasp a little bit of that work-life balance. And, you know, I'm not even sure it exists, to be honest, the balance piece, because if you're passionate about something, you want to go all in, right, all deep.
Right.
But that's sort of where our individual, you know, boundaries need to kick in a little bit. But yeah, really cool what social media has done for that.
Christine, you meet a lot of people with Meals on Wheels who are struggling, who are trying to get a step forward. And as part of when you make those deliveries, I'm sure that your volunteers have these one-on-one conversations. And I'm sure that these conversations also say, you know what, if you're motivated enough, if you want to do something different with your life, you can. There are things you can do, and these resources are available to you, and they're free for the most part.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of things that social media have brought to the table as far as connecting communities. I mean, obviously our volunteers have that face-to-face connection every day as we deliver our meals, and that's a very important part of our service to the community, and we acknowledge that. And our volunteers are definitely very encouraging of our clients and get to know them and understand what's going on in their lives. But social media, I mean, there's all sorts of new things that are happening now, connecting people who might be a little bit more socially isolated. And so I know that there's school programs where the kids will actually Skype with other people, maybe in nursing homes, like, or maybe in another country. And so the kids are learning that technology, and they're also in just kind of getting that interaction with a different generation, a different ethnicity, a different culture. And it's all being incorporated through technology and those social sharing platforms and devices. So it's really cool.
And what's cool is Christine and I had met on social media, and my blog had done a letter writing campaign to go to the recipients of the meals.
Fantastic.
And we would never have met, right, if there hadn't been Twitter. I think it was Twitter or Facebook, I can't remember. But those kind of connections that can make a difference in your community didn't exist so long ago, and so that's really cool, right? I mean,
Well, look at Dax here. I mean, you just decided to take a few pictures.
Yeah.
This thing called Instagram kind of interested you, and
Absolutely.
man, look who you are today.
Absolutely. Further on to that last topic as well, and Instagram, it's only social media that's the new thing here. It's only it's furthering the connections, but social networking is essentially what we're doing, and we've been doing social networking our whole lives, and we strive for community as human beings, right? So right now we're just able to increase the amount of those interactions and you know, connections overall, because we have so many different networks, and that's where the people do exist. You know, the pulse of our city and the conversation is always on Twitter, and that's where it's always going to first.
Would your, Dax, into you for a second, but would your life be the same without Instagram? Would you still go on these adventures and take these pictures?
Definitely not. I just started last year, basically. At the end of like 2013, early 14 is when I started basically just getting lost in the woods and started documenting what I was seeing, because it looked different than, you know, I don't know if I ever took the time to appreciate what was in our backyard. And once I did that, things just started taking off. And so life has drastically changed because of that.
You know, and corporations are actually grabbing a hold of this too, as we talked to Andrea a few minutes ago. I mean, here's this Mompreneur Award. Think about it. She just started off a business. Then she finds out there's an award giving out. But corporations are recognizing that there are so many valuable people in so many communities. Why not tap into that and, you know, piggyback along with them as well too? We're fine. When we brought you on, Barb, I'd never heard of this campaign that you were all about. And you know, when the simplicity of just writing, not forgetting how to write. And now you're involved with charities like Meals on Wheels, and I'm sure other ones, but all of a sudden your mind, and that's, again, we talk about losses of jobs, but it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Completely, and I think you have to seize it, even if you don't know what you're doing to start with. Just plunge in, and to be honest, a lot of people in my world, they kind of think, or maybe their eyes glaze over when I say, yeah, I blog and I'm on Twitter. Really? What is that about? And so there's a whole group of people who are still kind of out there wondering, what is that world?
It's all new.
Right?
This is a new world.
Yeah. So you just have to plunge in, and as I said, even if you don't know what you're doing, because it's very easy to learn, and it is all about networking and engaging and meeting people and seeing where you fit and how you can make a difference.
Yeah, and that's the reality. It's just such a new thing that we're talking about. I mean, some people, Instagram. Okay, what's that Instagram all about? It's really there's conversations are being had on a daily basis.
Yeah, and it's okay, because I was totally, I was chatting earlier, I was really adverse to going on Twitter, to be honest, because I just thought, one more social media platform, like I just can't even hardly manage what I'm already doing. So I just tested it out, in terms of, give me a 3-month, what are my stats before, what are they after, and I love it. In fact, I probably have a bit of an addiction problem.
There you go.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Congratulations again to Andrea, who's setting an example for our community and also for Canada. She's the new mom entrepreneur. The next trending topic we want to jump into is Calgary Stampede is feeling the economic pinch.
Yeah, we're wondering if Stampede might look a little bit different this summer as we head into the next couple of months. The CEO, Vern Kimball, says some major capital expenditures will be deferred and some vacant employee positions might not be replaced necessarily during Stampede. And they've also lost a few of their major sponsors, and a few companies have actually canceled their corporate parties. But there's still the TARP auction, which happens next week, and they're saying that'll really decide on how Stampede might look because of the prices that people will pay for sponsorship at the TARP auction. So kind of brings us to our trending poll this morning.
Yeah, we were asking you, do you think Stampede will be different this year? Do you think Stampede will be different this year? We'll give you a couple of options. No, just going to party on. Might have to work that week. Or just wait and see. It will be a different landscape. Post your answer on Twitter or Facebook. You'll find a link to our trending poll question at Trending on Shaw. As the show progresses, we'll give you an update on how you're voting. So, Stampede, will it be different for you three this year? Christine.
Well, we're always going to do our annual Stampede barbecue. I mean, it's a big party.
I'll be there.
It's a big party at our place, and we do our kitchen actually makes all the meals, and we invite all of our volunteers and supporters to come out and hang out and have fun, and so that'll of course continue. We definitely notice the change in landscape with the corporations and that side of things, and we know that there's going to be some big changes there. But as far as Stampede itself, we're going to keep that fun, and we always do like a special meal for our clients around that week as well.
Yeah. So you're preparing for it?
For the change in the corporate climate.
What kind of changes are you making, knowing that?
Yeah, we know that there's definitely some changes on the horizon. We've already felt a few. On our volunteer front, we've had a few of our corporate adopter routes who've changed the faces of the folks volunteering because there's been layoffs, and unfortunately that's really sad for us to see. But the corporations themselves are still committed to helping us out, and they're trying to fill in those volunteer positions as best they can from their existing employee pool. And then, of course, on the financial front, we're always aware of what changes are going on and how that might affect our annual fundraising goals. We do a lot of fundraising for all 6 of our different programs, and so we have noticed that there's been some changes in some of the pledges for matching gifts, and we're a little bit more cautiously optimistic about some pending applications and grants, that kind of thing. But we know that Calgary has come through before, and we've got a really great supportive community out there. So we're still very optimistic, and you know what? If the price of gas goes down, at least our gas bill will also go down.
But do you think when we're walking through the Stampede grounds, we'll see a difference, or is it just going to be sort of the higher corporate side of things that maybe just not as many big parties?
I think Stampede will be the same.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fairgrounds will be just as fried and
Yeah, the deep fried
yummy.
Snickers bar. Yeah.
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 And that's what we love about it, right?
There's a tweet here that was sent in from Kelsey. She says, if we pull it off in a flood, we can do it in an economic slump. I mean, there's a little campaign, come hell or high water, right? I mean, there it was.
Yeah.
And we dealt with it, we moved on, and that's the resilience of the city. Maybe that's why it's so attractive, people coming to the city all the time, because we have that kind of attitude, right?
And it's more the spirit of the Stampede, right?
Yeah, and spirit of the city,
yeah.
it just rubs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see.